Well, howdy everybody. It's your good buddy, Jody Sharp, and today I'm going to show you this, the Wacky Fun Bug. This is a crazy little fly. It's super simple. It's some Google Eyes, some fun foam that you can get at the dollar store, and whatever color elastic band you want for the legs, black, or in this case I'm going to use black because I'm going to make an orange one, or if you want them to have red or pink or green or whatever colors, whatever blows your socks off. And Google Eyes, I put them on there. They float a little bit like the foam. It floats upright like this in the water. So you got black and white ones on there, green ones on that one, which I just dropped on the floor. And in all honesty, I don't think it really matters what color eyes you have, because what they're going to see is the bottom anyways. And also I put these spots on them to pretty them up with a black marker. I also don't think it really matters unless you spot the bottom as well. Put some spots on the bottom. To be honest, I never have, and I always catch lots of fish with them. So just to make them pretty is more for my own, just to make them nice, less for the fish. See, no matter what color I've tied them, I don't really tie spots on the bottom. So this is a green and blue one. Here is a pink one. So yeah, I don't think it really matters. And if you want, you can add some sparkle to the end, some crystal flash. That often also helps. Again, I don't think it really matters. This one doesn't have. Some of them have it. Here's like a purple one with pink legs. It has the flash. I don't think it really matters, to be honest, but I'm going to show you with, and you can decide to leave that step out if you don't want. So I'm going to take our little Wacky Fun Bug out of the vise, and I'm going to put in our size 10 straight hook like so. I'm going to use some clear nylon thread. It's really good at hiding the colors or blending in with colors. So before I attach our thread, actually, we're going to take our fun foam. We're going to measure a hook length from the eye to the edge of our where the bend of our hook is, and then we will fold it over and just measure that up. That is the body of your fun bug. So then cut it off, and you should have this. And just take your hook, poke it right in the center of your fun bug, and then you can push that forward just like that. All right, now for today's Wacky Doo Fun Bug, I'm going to use some white crystal flash. And we'll use 2 strands. And we'll just put that off to the side for a second. Now what you want to do is you want to take your mono or your nylon thread, and you want to attach it onto your hook. And you want to lay down a base like this, and you're going to wrap it behind, wrap it down, and you want to wrap it right to the end of the bend of the hook. Like so, then wrap it up to the midpoint. Next, you're going to take your crystal flash in whatever color. Like I said, in this case, I just picked clear. And you're going to line up the ends. And then you're going to cut it. And we'll fold it in half again. And you want a really bushy, crystally tail. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to tie those loops in, with the loop part being on the hook and the straight part being out the back of the hook. Like so. Alright, and then you want to have, I'd say, about, let's do the hook length. We'll do the hook length. It'll be really sparkly. If you find later on that you want less, you can put less. And if you feel you want a little more, I actually would like a few more. So with the little bit left over that we have, I'm going to add it in there. And then just cut them all even. And if you have any little leftovers after that, you can just leave it off to the side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our two fingers. You're going to grip onto it like as if you're gripping like this. Twist your wrist. Twist it twice. And then now you have a loop. And we're going to go over and under through the foam. And we'll just do that again. And we'll just do it one more time. 2 twists. And we'll put it on. Okay. Now, we're going to take our scissors. And we're going to snip that off. Now, we're going to take our orange foam. And we're going to slide it all the way to the back of the hook. And you can twist it around like so. Okay, so it's out of the way. Now, we're going to take our thread, and at the front of our hook, just below the eye, we're going to attach our thread back to our hook. And we'll snip that off, put that piece off to the side. Okay, so now we decide what color legs we want on our crazy fun bug, our wacky fun bug. So I'm going to do black, because I think black and orange, they really pop really well. So what you want to do is you want to measure the width of your foam, and you want the same amount sticking out one side as the other. So I'm going to go about that long. Now, you can always shorten them after, but you can't lengthen them. So I always put a little extra, and then, you know, I'm able to cut it off after. So what you want to do now is you want to go right into the middle of your fly and leave your thread there. And then, because you want to have 4 crazy legs on this fly, you're going to take your elastic, you're going to measure it to the other piece that you have left, and then you're going to cut them two even legs like that. So you're going to have basically that. So take the first pair, and you're going to try and get it right as close to center as you can. And then you're going to do 1 loop, and you're going to tie it so that it's centered, and you can just pull it a little bit. Be careful not to cut through your elastic. And then you're just going to do 1 or 2 crazy 8s like that. So once you put it on, you see, you're going to have your legs sticking out like that once you fold it over. Okay, so the next thing to do is take your other pair of legs, and you're going to tie it at the exact same point as you did the first pair. So you're going to catch it with your thread, and they're a bit wiggly, so it might take a bit of doing. So you can just do a very loose loop, and then you want to get them so that they're facing forward. And if there's a little tiny space in between your two elastic legs, nothing to worry about. And just keep playing with, you might have to adjust them a little bit to get them facing the right way. And once they're facing forward, you can go ahead and do your crazy eights. Again, if you have to just adjust it a little bit as you go, you can. You don't want to put too much thread on there because you can cut through the elastic, and you don't want to do that. Now, one thing I've found is that nail polish and crazy glue will eat through rubber. So you do not want to cement that in or put any kind of crazy glue on there, because it will be not good for your fly. So you're going to take your thread and you're going to put it right exactly in between the two legs, the two little elastic legs there. And then you're going to take your foam, whichever color you choose. It could be yellow or, pink, purple. I got yellow here. In this case, we're doing an orange one. So what you want to do is you want to fold it over in the center like a little sandwich. And then you're going to take your thread and you're going to tie it tight in the center, like so. All right, so this is what you're going to have now. And then you're going to lift up your top foam. You're going to pull your thread over across the leg to the hook, and then you're going to let go, put your bottom thumb down on your bottom piece, and then you're going to wrap your thread up to the front of the hook. Okay? And then you're going to sandwich the foam together again, like so. You're going to catch, let's see if I can get a good angle for you. So you sandwich them together, then you're going to catch a couple millimeters of the foam in the front, and you're going to pull, and you're going to pull it really tight. So you'll see the foam actually smush in like a little bit. All right. And then once you got it, you can do a few wraps. Again, not too tight, because if you go too tight, you can cut through the foam just like you can cut through the elastic, and you don't want to do that. So you just enough that it, as you see, you got a big body section, now you got a little section, and then a top section. And pretty much that is the body of your bug. And at this point, we can take our two fingers and we can tie off our crazy fun bug, our wacky fun bug. Just like that. If you have a whip finisher, just so I can show you, if you got a whip finisher, you can always tie it off. Like so. I hate my whip finisher. I have a bunch of whip finishers, and I've never used them because they just get more in my way than anything else. This is one of the newer ones I got. and I could never get it to work, so forget it. I'm having a bad whip finisher day, so I'm not going to use it. If you know how to use yours, use it if you want. If you don't want, let me try again. There we go. Okay. Nope. Still. I don't know why. I used to be able to do it. I guess I haven't done it in so long. If you watch my videos, you'll see. I'm not sure why it's not working anymore. There you go. So it can be done. So one thing you won't be seeing from me is a whip finishing video, because I don't need to. So there's your sense of humor. And since we're doing Wacky Fun Bugs, that's why. So if you ask me why I don't do that, that's why. I have tools I don't use because they're not necessary, in my opinion. There's guys who swear by it, but if you see all my flies, I've tied thousands and thousands and thousands of them. 2 fingers, I get in there. I'm supposing if you're an older gentleman and you have some dexterity, maybe you have arthritis or whatever, maybe the tool will be helpful for that. But I've seen a lot of older guys, they still do the same thing. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take some regular crazy glue, put it on the eye, on our little Google eye, and you're just going to post one right there. Dab it on your other one, like so. Put it on there. Just hold them for a couple seconds. Do 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 do. Voila, you're finished. And if you got a black marker, you can take a black marker, a little Sharpie, make it like a little ladybug spots. And if you feel you want to decorate the bottom, like I said, I never do, but for the sake of the video, let's do it. Because you might feel that a couple of spots on the bottom will help it. I think these flies make little to no difference if you do that or not. Another thing I like to do is seal in the black with some clear nail polish, in this case Sinful Colors, but you can use Sally Hansen's. I just like to seal in the colors a little bit, seal up the eyes a bit. It'll help if you put a little bit in the center. It'll help your threads to stay bound up. Do not get any on your rubber legs. Whatever you do. I'm telling you, do not get any on your rubber legs. It will eat through that rubber like there's no tomorrow. And these rubber legs are a little crazy for me. So I'm going to trim them down just a wee bit. And try and make them flush. And there you have your finished Wacky Fun Bug. Not complicated, not tricky, simple, really cool pattern. You can fish it like that. Going to catch a lot of panfish, sunfish, bluegill, rock bass, crappies. Yeah, it's going to catch a lot of, even bass. I've caught bass on it, but mostly rock bass, sunfish, you know, bluegills, black crappie. Those are the fish that are going to readily take this fly. So if you enjoy pan fishing, this is the one. You can fish it solo, or you can attach a dropper line from the back of the hook. You can just put a loop knot, put a dropper, maybe a foot back. You can put a single hook and then put a power maggot, a Berkeley power maggot, and or you could put another like white maggot fly or whatever, and it is a deadly, deadly, deadly combination. You will catch tons and tons of fish on this fly, and you can go out and spend the afternoon. And if the eye pops off, when you go home, glue another eye on, or fish it without the eye. I fished all day with the same fly. If the eye pops off, those fish are not going to notice because they're only going to see this anyways from the bottom. So those eyes are just to make it cute and make it look put together. So basically more for us fly guys, the fishermen, than the fish. So that's it, guys. That is the Wacky Fun Bug. Tie some up. Get yourself some fun foams. Like I said, any color fun foam. You can pinks, purple, blues, cotton candy blue. Definitely orange. Orange and the hot pink. And white. White is a fantastic color. Get yourself some white. And like I said, the legs, just make the legs contrasting. So if you do orange, make it, a contrasting color like green. You could do orange and green. For some reason, I don't have any green, orange and green. But like you could do like yellow and green, yellow and black. Like, the combinations are countless. Pink and blue, pink and green, pink and black. Whatever you got. It works well. If your elastics are a thicker elastic than a thinner elastic, you can cut it, and then you can cut down the center. All right, and that will then make a strip like so. Also, if you're a rubber legs kind of guy, the centipede legs, they got centipede legs and all those different rubber legs. You don't have to use elastic band if you don't want to. You can find some rubber legs in the color you want, and they will work just as good. I find they're a little more expensive. So if you buy a package of them, is more expensive than buying a package of elastics. So that's why I just use elastics and foam, because I can get both those things at the dollar store. I don't have to make a special trip or buy it online. So that's why. But otherwise, like I said, Wacky Fun Bug, great bug to tie. You can spend, again, do with or without the crystal flash. Again, experiment on the colors you like, and on different color days. Again, like every day, white ones will work on certain days, black ones will work on certain days, and it's that simple, guys. So hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Fish on, Canada, and keep your lines tight. All right, keep your fly on the water. Bye. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you how to use a whip finisher. This is a Thompson's whip finisher, and basically you see this little S hook here. You're going to catch your thread on the outer S hook, then you're going to pull it up past that little hook here, like so, and then you're going to twist it up, make your loop, and you can tie your loop. It works best when you go a little faster because it's less slippy, and then you can release it onto the loop. So you put it on the loop, put it on through there, twist it up, adjust your loop, then you can release it, let it go. Put it on, flip it up, push it around, make your loop. So that's the Thompson's whip finisher. Give it a try, give it some practice. It's very good. The next whip finisher is, of course, I think it's called the Manelli whip finisher. Again, you're going to take the upper hook, push it up to your thread, so you're going to keep your thread pulled behind you. You're going to come up from behind, catch that first. Then you're going to do you have the figure 4. You're going to catch it onto your hook, wrap it down, and then slide your thread forward. Alright, they're both very good. They're both very good whip finishers. They do require some practice. I'm not as good on this one as I am on my Thompson. Also, I use nylon thread, which is very slippery. It's not an excuse because it can be done. Pull it up, wrap it around. So that's how they both work, the Manelli and the Thompson, right? Now, as a last thing, which you will see in most of my videos, majority of my flies, I'm going to say not exclusively, but almost 100%, 99% of my flies do not have a whip finisher, no matter whether a gnat, an ant, a bee, a praying mantis, whatever I'm tying, chances are I did not use a whip finisher on it. I have them, as I just showed you. That's why I made this video, to show you how to use them. This is, for me, the best. This is my whip finisher, my 2 fingers right here. You take your thread, you put your 2 fingers spread apart on your thread, you pull your thread off to one side, and you twist your wrist around like this. And then you slide it through the thread, do a double twist, and now you have your whip loop. And you can put that anywhere on the fly. If you need it in the back, if you need it in the front, if you need it in the middle, if you get a tie off on the end, wherever you need it, you can place it. And then you just pull your fingers out, and you can just, right here, very fast. And I'm super, super fast. And in the time it takes me to tie 3 or 4 knots with this, I don't need my whip finisher. And I usually do 3 or 4 knots, and this is tied solid. It is not going anywhere. Most patterns I use no head cement or nail polish or things, unless I'm coating a back of something specifically to get a certain look. But to tie down a thread or a knot, it is not necessary. It's just an added thing. At the end of the day, if you've tied these knots and you do want to just make sure there's no slip, you can add a little bit of nail polish or crazy glue. Like if I'm tightening a knot, I'll put it crazy glue. Depends on what you're tying. It's not going to hurt your fly if you don't have it. Any fly, if you tie the knots tight enough, if you put a tight enough knot, it is not going to come unloose. And if you do like 3 or 4 of those, it is locked in there. It is not coming loose. So, and then you just cut your thread off. That's it. So, and then you can just attach it wherever you want. That's the other thing. Don't be afraid to attach and reattach a thread. If you are working on a fly with segments and you got to do something with this segment here, you can always use another segment. That's what your whip finisher is for. So just one more time, just to recap our Thompson. Right? Loop, loop, loop. Just like that. Very simple. Tie it on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Loop it up. Let it go. Alright, so, and again, we'll just show you the Manelli. Figure of 4. Doop, doop, doop. Just like that. Both good whip finishers. I'd say you're only going to need one. Only buy one. I like the Thompson. I'm going to tell you why I like the Thompson. The handle is firm. I don't like when it twists. I like to be able to use my fingers and wrist to twist it. Some guys will like that twisting motion, but I find it's twisting while you're trying to get because the base twists around on this. So I find that while you're trying to get it in there, it's very slippy on the Manelli, and I personally would not really prefer to use this. I got this given to me, and I have 2 of those Manelli ones, and one came with a kit, and the other one did not. The Thompson I've had for many years, and that was the first one I learned. I prefer it. It's going to be up to you what your taste is. Again, I hardly ever use any of them. I know how to use the 2-finger loop, and you just tie 3 or 4 of those. It's the same as going with your whip finisher. So I hope that was helpful to any of you guys. If you're new to fly tying, that's something to think about. If you're an older to fly tying, maybe you've never had a whip finisher, maybe you've never needed one, maybe you do the same, the 2 tying loop. Also, speaking of that, there's another kind of tie off you can do. I don't have the tool to do it. Yes, I do. I do have it. I should show you this while I'm here. Of course, this is about whip finishers, but I'm gonna show you this last thing. I gotta tell you, I'm not super good at this. This is probably the last thing I would ever do. But there are some guys who are so proficient at this, and I do recommend that you watch a video about this. If you have a bodkin, your bodkin has a little hole at the end, see? And it can go over your hook eye like this and hold it to your hook eye. What you can do is you can wrap... Oh, I didn't have my thread on the hook good enough. Shame on me. You'd think I would have, after all the fly tying I've done. Okay. You can take your bodkin, if you have one with a hole at the end. You can also use a pen tip for this. So if you have a pen tip and this works for you, you can use like a pen. But if you have a bodkin, which you should get because you'll need one, that's for picking out things. Anyways, you wrap your thread twice around your bodkin, and you pull it, and that makes a hitch knot that works. So again, twice around and then you pull it out. So that is obviously not a whip finisher, but that is another way. this may be awkward for people to do this. I find it the least awkward. It is the most not satisfying hitch knots that I do, is that. But if you watched my crazy wacky fun bug video, you will see that I really fouled up my whip finishers with my Thompson and with my thing, because I was rushing through the fly and I wasn't concentrating, and that's why. So that's why I decided to come back on, make this using your whip finisher video, and say I can do it and show you properly how to do it. You know what, guys? Just as a final thought, fly tying is an art. It is something you take time to master. There are going to be days where every fly you tie is gold. You put on the materials. Your tools are working great. Your hands are working great. You don't have any cramps or pains in your hands. Everything is going well. Everything is going smooth. And then there's going to be other days where you've tied a fly that you've tied 1,000,000 times, and your thread's gonna snap, or you were fighting with your wife or girlfriend or parents, or you had a bad day at work, or the kids bothered you or something, and you're agitated a little bit. You got things on your mind, and things aren't flowing quite the same as they would on a regular day. I would tell you, just bear with it those days, because the other days where you're making fun flies, you know, when you're tying really, really cool stuff, you know, here's a more advanced fly to tie. When you're tying more advanced flies, that's where the fun and the joy comes in. So don't give up. And there's flies work. I've tied some flies that I think are crap. They look like crap, but they catch the most fish. And then other times you tie brilliantly grasshoppers or you know, some sort of crayfish fly or something brilliant, and you think, oh, this is going to be awesome, and it doesn't catch fish that well, or whatever. So it's a sliding scale, and you have to figure out how it works for you. Like here's a simpler fly. All it is, a bead on the front, some orange wool, and some black wool dubbing. That's it. This is one of my best flies. I catch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of fish on this fly. It just works, and all fish seem to eat it. Carp, bass, catfish, perch. This is a fly I recommend you catch. It's called the carpworm. I didn't invent it, but it is a fantastic thing. And if you're checking out my videos, check out my pink carpworm video, and you will see some underwater footage and things of the fish eating the pink carpworm. Okay, guys, so that's whip finishers. I hope one of those techniques works well for you. I showed you 4 different techniques. Have at it, and hope it works well for you. All right, Jody out.